forward. Hold on.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call to order the meeting, a regular city council meeting at the Osakis City Hall, Monday, May 12th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Please all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have several changes I'd like to make to the agenda. Laura from Bowling is here this evening for regarding the grants that we have as the last item on our agenda. If we could move that forward to right after our consent agenda, so that we don't have to hold her up any longer than necessary. First responders are here to make the reports. I'd like to put them as the last item under the staff and committee reports. And then I would like to add at the very end, talking about a workshop for the council that I've been asking. Anybody else have anything they would like to add? Oh, also, Chad is here this evening, and I would like to, he's going to talk to us about cameras down at the beach and up here at City Hall. And does anybody else have anything they'd like to add or change?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with those changes.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda with the changes I've requested. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. We'll move on to the consent agenda. I have questioned the minutes from the EDA, so I would like to table that because the EDA has not reviewed that. Otherwise, I'm good with everything else.
So the fire department does have a question regarding fireworks. Do we need to have a discussion regarding that?
I see that.
Yep. Yeah, we could add that in there with it too, just a ballpark figure on dollar amount, then I can get a pre-order, and then we'll make a final come after next month's meeting.
Do we want to move him down to like the staff comments?
Yes, please.
I'll make a motion to pull the fire department report and the first responders report out of the consent agenda. And then after that, paying the bills of $447,731.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the bill of $447,730.02. Also to approve the city council minutes, all the consent items with tabling the EDA minutes for review. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. And Laura, if you'd like to come up, visit with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for moving me up. I'm not used to kind of doing this, but yeah, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Laura Osley, and I'm the funding program manager at Bollig Engineering. And we actually, Angela had reached out, gosh, almost a month ago now, probably, after she was referred by the Douglas County HRA around inquiring about this new grant opportunity the state of Minnesota has. So 2 years ago in 2023, state legislation approved funding that could get, that they were going to open up as a one-time funding opportunity for communities to apply that were looking at housing developments. So that was infrastructure for those actual housing developments. Come back now, finally 2 years later, they just actually opened up the funding options in the portal system. On Friday is the end of any kind of questions that people can ask. And so we're geared up to assist the city of Osakis if that is something that you would like us to move forward with applying for at this point in time. the state has put a cap at a max of $500,000 request. That's the max that you can request. There is a required 50/50 match with anything. If you're looking at single family housing on those in that development, the max you can request is $40,000 per unit. And these are all things that we can work with you around that application as we're working through. We have a short time frame. The grant applications are due June 12th. So the state can wait 2 years before they actually open it up, but then we get these like tight time frames. But we do feel like this is a chance that we can be able to do it for you. I do have to let you know though, it's going to be competitive. There's only 7.75 million to go across the state. And just like Osakis, there's communities all across the state that are really chomping at the bit and needing some housing. But you guys have done some legwork and some planning and some things that are really going to strengthen your application. And we have a long history of being able to secure funding for communities across the state. And when we met with Angela, it seemed like a very appropriate application that we could assist with. So we wanted to give you the chance, if this is something that you want to do. We've worked with the Douglas County HRA. I'm partnering on a couple of other projects, and we're familiar with their work, and they're going to be an advocate too for this project, for the city of Osakis as well. And so, do you have any questions for me around this application or the process? Or
Is it kind of a first come, first serve?
it's not a first come first serve. Well, the applications everything is due on June 12th, and then they're gonna score them. So there is some scoring criteria that comes into play during that, some of which you don't have any ability to decipher based on population, and you'll score the most for your population, so kudos on that, but there'll be some other things that come in. And then really behind that, a lot of it, the scoring is gonna come down to the planning and how ready you are, and you've done several of those things, and I just feel like based on some of the communication and working with Angela on gathering some of those additional documents, that's how the rest of the application is going to be coming to place. So, yeah.
And it's my understanding that in speaking with Angela, you're of course looking to get our business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And along with that, this first grant with regional fee.
Mhm.
Also, you do a needs assessment for the city of Osakis?
In part of this right now would be part of this application process. This is important, and you're dealing with a short time frame. I believe Chris had conversations with you that we would love to be able to approach you and move forward with a needs assessment. We do have a no charge needs assessment process that we do participate in, and we work with our communities because we want to make sure that we have everything on the table when you go into a process with that. So that would be something in addition to what we're looking at here. But I know that would be a great opportunity to be able to show you some of the other things that we can do within our. And one of the things is Bollig Engineering. We consider ourselves really a funding firm that we just happen to do really good engineering and architecture. We typically in our communities right now, we average about 66% grant funding secured for our projects, which is well above the 0-30% that other firms you're going to find. So we really take a look at the opportunities that come with the funding structures within any of the projects. So, but that's another note too, but we would love to be able to have that time to sit down and take a look at the rest of the need of the community. Yeah.
Well, I know it's been on the EDA front and
Oh,
center
yes.
for a long since when I've been on EDA, so.
And that's why, that's the legwork that we.
Right,
that-
yeah, that's great to know. So you have an active EDA that's looking at with the housing too. And so those are the partners that we're talking about that we want to be able to bring to this application and strengthen it and all those that kind of work. So, yeah, thank you. What I believe Angela had passed is the actual resolution.
Yes.
Yeah. So that resolution is actually a required document that we have to include in the application itself. There's a couple of different specific required documents. That's one of them. Another one, it will be a pre-risk assessment, and I'll work with Angela if this is something that you want us to move forward with. And it's really just documenting and certifying that you guys have the ability to apply for these funds and that you have safeguards in place and checks and balances within your fiscal processes to be able to apply and receive state dollars and be able to administer them as well. So. When is the cutoff for this application? 2/12. Okay, which is a month. It's 1 month, right?
And the EDA did recommend, yeah, in this direction.
I'd like to make a motion to pass resolution number 2025 dash whatever.
Would be 14.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass resolution 2025-14 to approve bowling to complete Minnesota Housing Infrastructure Grant and task order number 1. All in favor say aye.
Hi.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
Will you sign it and then give it to, does that work? Okay, I'm getting pushy, right?
Not a lot of time.
I know. Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And just let me know you have you guys all have my contact information. You can reach me at any time. It's my cell phone, so you can text me if questions come up too. So I appreciate the time. And we'll talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I see Angela has given us another resolution accepting grant and navigator funding from the League of Minnesota Cities. Which provides grants up to $5,000 per city to use with industry partners.
And this grant was one we applied for the funding, and I did call them because we specifically asked for this grant to apply for this, but then they came in with no charge. But they said as long as it's used for grant funding, we could allocate it somewhere else. So the resolution does say, grants with them, WSN, or other grants, so we can apply it later on as we apply for grants.
All right, somebody like to make a motion to pass this resolution?
I'll move on that.
One second.
Motion has been made and seconded to pass resolution 2025-13, for League of Minnesota Cities, to enter into their pilot grants navigation program. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Now we move on to planning and zoning. If we could first look at the planning and zoning meetings. For approval.
I will make a motion to approve the planning and zoning minutes from the April 17th meeting.
Second. All in favor? No, motion has been made and seconded to approve planning and zoning minutes from April 17th, 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Planning and zoning board held a public hearing on cannabis business ordinance. And had a discussion with city attorney. Planning and zoning commission held a meeting with pool ordinance located in chapter 125 of the city code and not in the zoning ordinance. We will need to publish this, but attached is a summary publication. And I read it, I'm okay with it.
Is this the resolution that we have to read aloud?
Yeah, it's not necessarily required to read it all because of the length of it, but there is a resolution, so a shortened version of what we would put in the paper, and it's available online.
Summary publication, resolution 2025-05. An ordinance adopted to the city code chapter 125 cannabis business repeal and replace. During their May 12th, 2025 meeting, the Osakis City Council repealed and replaced ordinance 125 pursuant to Minnesota statute section 412.191. In the case of lengthy ordinance, a summary may be published, while a copy of the entire ordinance is available for inspection and without cost to any person of the office of the city clerk and on the city website. The following summary is approved by the city council and shall be published in lieu of publishing the entire ordinance. The ordinance amendment number 142 to the city code by repeal and replacing chapter 125 for cannabis. Effective date, this ordinance has passed on May 12th, 2025 and shall be effective upon publication. Passed by the City Council of the City of Osakis, Minnesota, this 12th day of May, 2025. Be it further resolved that the city clerk is directed to keep a copy of the ordinance in her office at City Hall for public inspection and to post a full copy of the ordinance in a public place in the city for a period of 2 weeks.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance amendment for 142 for chapter 125 cannabis.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve ordinance amendment 142 for chapter 125 cannabis business. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion has carried.
Answer question.
Certainly.
At what time can we start carrying? Is it official now, or do I have to wait until it's put in the paper?
It's officially done when it's in the paper.
Oh, okay, so I have to wait until next week, or, you know, when the publication's going out? I just want to know, like, if we're.
Wednesdays, so the long period later is our official paper, so Wednesday.
Of next week.
Next
So
week.
the last week of May, I could potentially order first week of June. Thank you.
And then the resolution is just approving that summary publication can be put in instead of the full one.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2025-5.
Okay.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve resolution 2025-5, summary publication of cannabis ordinance. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. And we'll move on to staff and committee reports. We will start with Mr. Fuller.
So in my report there, I did have the bank, Judy had talked about bank reconciliation, but for my items, I had included where we're at in our savings accounts and then our budget item, cash balances, revenue and expenditure budgets. You can see where we're at as of May 1st of this year. So just a reminder for the council, in July, I start doing the budgeting when we get half the year done, looking at the totals, and then in August is when we typically hold the budget hearing or budget meetings to discuss what our budget's gonna be. We will have some discussion on the budget amendment after the contracts are finalized. We do have some changes that will affect the personal services, and we'll have to do a budget amendment because of those things. And as a reminder, usually we get taxes in June and LGA in July, and that's our biggest funding mechanism for the city, so that's when we get those funds to help us get through the year. Any questions on that?
No, and as Angela noted, I have requested bank statements and reconciliations. If there's no one else in the council that really cares about that, she can just include it in my stuff. It's entirely up to you, if you guys want to be seeing it or not. This budget, where we have to adopt a budget resolution, when do we have to do that by?
So
Prior to looking at the next budget?
the budget amendment, there is no requirement as to when we could do it. It might have to have some discussion with it, so whether you want to do it at a workshop or a regular meeting, or we can do it at the same time as the budget time if we want you to, but we do need to look at an amendment and discuss how we're gonna fill that gap or make those changes, so.
Anybody else have any questions regarding the clerk report? And we will move on to Mr. Troy.
As a meeting,
Great.
first thing I'll touch base on is I'm still waiting for a second bid when it comes to the parking lot. So, still hoping for something fall if we can get it approved and get everything done. The VFW is not doing a full redo of their parking lot, so I don't know how much trying to tie those two together, plus it's been really hard. I still haven't gotten anything back from that company as far as a bid, and they haven't talked to the VF yet either. So I don't know if they're just super busy. I did get a second name for Central Specialties, Mike Siddle. I'm gonna reach out to them, and see maybe if they can come and do a bid, just so we can get a second one on the docket. And if we wanna work with Mark Lee later on, if he gets stuff put together, we can look at that then. But, as of right now, the only one that's come through with both the concrete and the asphalt bid is Ryan's, which is doing the golf course right now. So just that's the update on there. I'll keep on that. I didn't have anything put together for you guys. Hopefully I can either email or get it out to you. Because I just finished my second conversation with the other part of the POS systems for changing them out. It actually would be two systems, which one would be for the liquor store side, one would be for the offset side. As of right now, we could get both of these done, and it takes 3 to 4 weeks for them to transfer all the data and get everything in. When they go live, they will have people on site for that day to help us go through. Both of them have training courses on Tuesdays. So even if I don't have time or Jeff won't have time to train people, we can have them come in on Tuesday and log in, or they can log in at home and actually do online training on the systems before they come in. So that's another thing that would be good. The first one is shift 4. That is the one that would be doing on the on-sale side. It doesn't have a robust inventory or anything like that. It's basically a restaurant POS system, or POS system. It's very convenient, works. I was pleased with what they had. There is an ability to get a back of the house app, which would be an additional $75 a month if we want more inventory on that side. However, I think we're gonna be able to track it. I just don't know if it's gonna be too difficult, then we'll add the $75 one. But I think we'll be able to track it because they do have the ability to print out how many drinks we had. And into an Excel file, so we could build something where it's tracking all that on a weekly, and then we can look at it through there. And all of our product that's gonna get moved over would be from the cloud retailer off-sale side. And that is basically built to do off-sale liquor stores. I had Lynette out with me when we went through the first of 2 interviews with them and to see demos on how the product works. She really liked it. Her, Angela, and even if we wanted a city council member that's one of the liaisons to have accessibility to go in and look at stuff, you can. It's all cloud-based. We just have to assign users. So that part's really nice. So if she has questions on invoices and things that are coming out, she can log in and look at what was put in down there, and we can actually have a real-time conversation and have any buildings who want to get their buildings and do all that stuff. What's coming down with these is basically the only thing that's slightly different is we would have 2 credit card processing companies. One would be processing the credit cards on the bar, one would be on the liquor store. And the reason that is those processing companies pay for the product. So essentially, to get everything set up, we're looking at under $2,000 for everything.
Is there, I noticed, I know you mentioned on the on-sale side that you can go ahead and get that $75 a month subscription.
If I need that on the back of the house.
Okay, is there a monthly subscription after you?
So what we'd be looking at is right now we pay a monthly subscription of about $295 a month. We'll be paying less than that, and the subscriptions are mainly for the ability for credit card processing. And then the way we're paying for this is to have dual billing. So if you come up to the register, you can choose to pay cash for a lesser amount or pay a credit card for, and it's like a 1.7% fee is what they're getting for doing it. And that pays for our POS systems, that pays for So they're rentals, so if anything goes wrong, they replace them, we don't own them like the ones we own now. We don't have a fee for that. It also, normally there would be the two on the bar side would be $87 a month. Is what we'd be paying to have those two. The liquor store side is covered because we run enough credit cards through that side to cover it. As of right now with the information I gave them. So that like let's round it up to $1,900 and I can get the exact numbers for you. That would actually include the $75 a month for the program. That would be the whole bill to get everything in and the first month's payment. Then after that, it would be the $75 a month and the $84 a month. And that gives us access to IT help. It's not IT for our internet stuff, that would have to be somebody else, but any issues that we have with those, if a gun could, they know it's a gun, if one of the screens goes down or something happens. It's also giving us the ability to have a drink printer on the other side, so when we're training new staff, they could actually type in the drinks and it prints out, this is your order of drinks, so they can take it, set it down, and they know what they're making. Instead of tabs, they're trying to keep it all in their heads. So that comes with the program too.
If that's the case, will they have like?
We can have a handheld, that would cost extra. We can do access stuff like that with an iPad. They have the ability, so if we want to purchase our own iPad, then we can have a card reader and stuff on it. So if we want to do something, we get into the summertime festivals and stuff like that, if we want to set up and have that ability to use that. The liquors, Angela and Lynette need to make their decision too. I'm gonna talk to them. Lynette talked to the gentleman over a little bit about it. Is changing the credit cards would be the same, be using the same person here as we use on the liquor store side. So, and then they have the online and all that stuff. And you guys would have the dual pricing too for bill pay if you had something you wanted to go and pay less for cash for things that make sense on that side for you. So, the only thing is we're looking at 3 or 4 weeks for them to take all of our inventory and reports and everything that I have to get them to build the system for us. And then the training coming up to the initial opening, they want to have at least 2 staff members fully trained on POSs before they do the opening, which I figured we need enough. So, I don't know necessarily voting on this at this point. I'd like to because you get things, basically this price is locked till the 24th of May. But like I said, I just had my last conversation with these people on Thursday. So, and then I had to work Friday and Saturday fishing up the rest of the day and time to put. But I don't know if we can do it off schedule or if it's under the dollar amount, or I still have.
His schedule is like $5,000 just like everybody else.
It is, but I bought a $2,023 fridge and I did some plumbing work and stuff like that, so I don't know how close to that.
It's per item, yeah. As long as your budget is there and.
So then technically I get to approve this and get it done, right? As long as you guys are good with that, and then I won't do it until me and you and Lynette chat one more time about if you guys want to move over to the credit cards and
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
If we need to have another conversation maybe with you, seeing how it works too, would be good.
Mhm.
So may I ask, so when you talk about doing cash or card, that cash would be a certain price and then card is gonna be about the 1.75, something like that. Is cash our standard dollar amount and then the card would be the little upgrade for the
Correct.
fee?
And
Okay.
in the system that we're getting, actually, right now, printing out tags is a pain, unbelievably more difficult than it needs to be. They literally have their own tag printer and it has both prices, dual pricing on there, and they give us a display screen, so when you come up to the counter, it'll show you can pay cash at this dollar amount or credit card.
Okay.
It's just like almost any other retailer you go to where they say, well, if you can use your card, there's gonna be a fee. So, yeah, and it's the credit card fee and then it's an additional, so it ends up being like, I think it's either 3.7 or 4.2%. It's right around there. I can get the exact numbers from you. Alexander, he's been doing it for 3 years now. And that's how so they got their whole POS system free too from it. And he said it was the first 6 months was kind of confusing. And you had some people that once they got used to it, was a big deal. You're always gonna have a couple people that are just don't like.
And I feel like a lot of the small businesses are really going to that right now because they're.
You have to,
being
because
these
if you,
charges.
you could look at what we paid and those charges on that. I mean, honestly, 2 or 3 years, we could pay for what we have to do for the parking lot.
Absolutely.
Not happy.
Right.
So,
Can I possibly rewind to the parking lot as well? And
Yeah.
this is maybe more for my information. If he has one bid and he's not able to get another one, do we have a timeline of when that is?
The standards say we have, because of the dollar amount we need to.
It's quite expensive, so we really
Okay.
should look at
Okay,
trying to find someone that can give me that.
thank you. Just wanted clarification. I
But I
appreciate it.
appreciate you asking. That'd be nice, but that's how it works. So that's all I have. I'll keep it short on that, other than we had food truck out on Friday for 15 opener. That'd be pretty good. I plan to see if we can do that again for whether the day before a holiday weekend, if it works out. 'Cause a lot of times they're at places for the holidays. But I'd like to continue doing that because the customers and stuff. And then actually people are like, well, I didn't see it on Facebook, so we didn't know we went to 8, we paid here. So that's everything, just as a secondary thing we're trying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is good, keep trying different things.
Anything on the calendar for I missed the last meeting with the
Okay.
wine and bourbon tasting, is there anything on the calendar?
I was looking at the end of May, that Saturday, but, I have Jeff going on vacation, so I might have to bump it to the second weekend in June. But that'll be the first wine tasting.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to lean to a Saturday, because I'm hoping it'll bring people that are up here on the lakes on the weekends. But if I don't get it filled up very well, then I might just try like a Thursday evening too and see which one.
Sure.
I used to do them on Thursdays from 6:30 to 7:30 when I did them for West Side. We usually got anywhere between 20 or 30 people. And then my plan is, instead of paying a fee, I'm gonna have them buy a $15 gift card. That way, and we can eat the expense on the line that I can't replace, which it's not to be very minimal. They'll be coming back in, and 9 times out of 10, they buy more than what they did the gift card, plus we also got the gift card sales.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Chad. We have all kinds of things to talk about with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think you had 3 things, I had, you had one more.
Yep, I added the
And I
camera.
just wanted to update on the income, that's too. So, yeah, so it was November, 23, so when we were discussing, and that's when I was trying to get, I was working on getting a raise for the part-timers to have them, start off, they got experience, start off at higher steps, and during that discussion, then we had talked about the shift differential that the full-timers get, and then on call. So I have one part-timer that takes call. Pretty much whenever we need her in the evenings, if we need her to take call, she's really good at that, so. But we never did get a motion or a vote on it to do the shift differential from 4 PM to 6 AM for the part-timers, and then also the paying them to be on call. Or did we get the on call?
No, we don't have any motion on that.
So, yeah, there was 3 things that we discussed then, and they're all attached. Shift differential, it's $1 an hour when they work 6 to 4, is that what it is?
Dollar from, 4 PM to 6
From 4 PM to 6 PM. And then, the part-timer is able to, within a distance, we have 2 part-timers that live in town. So, if they would take call, and we had been paying them to be on call. We just wanted to get the resolution and the vote on it, at the same $4 rate as full-timers, and then paid for a call out if they're called out. And then the language for where part-timers would start was, that's actually down a little bit lower, but we're gonna do a resolution on part-timer compensation, and that, next one was David Detterman, was if they had, it was 3 years, was the discussion of full-time experience, they would start at step 3 on the scale, and then David has like 6 years of total law enforcement experience with Todd County and Long Prairie PD. Because I know before they discussed it, and started step one, so they can get step 3.
Okay, and let's address that first, because last month when you were gone, Laura and Tim, we passed a motion to hire David Detterman at step 1. We did not realize the experience that was behind him, so if we, make a motion to pass from previous discussions, this, hiring, part-timers at a different step based on experience, we will have to rescind that motion from last month and, change his step. But it looks like these conversations happened like a while ago, huh?
Yeah, end of 23, and then I think, January 24, I think there was my discussion.
Well, and part of it was, if I recall, we're going to do this, but then you said, boy, our roster was gonna fill up, we were gonna have all these people apply, and I don't see any changes.
Well,
There's,
we've had people apply, but David was the new one that came in and applied. And then we picked up another part-time that's working quite a bit since then,
which is,
Austin Becker. So we picked up him, we picked up David, just had another application dropped off just the other day, so.
2 since 2023.
Yeah, and we haven't lost anybody either. Which is kind of another big part of it, we haven't had anybody go anywhere else.
I see on the minutes from September 11th, 2023, a resolution was passed at that, but it doesn't, I don't see what the resolution was.
Are you looking at the highlighted section there?
Yeah. Well, right below it.
Know it.
That was a joint powers agreement.
Oh, okay.
It
Okay,
didn't
sorry.
have anything to do with
Sorry.
September was the first time we started talking about it,
Yeah.
and then I think November, I gathered more information on part-time wages. And came back with that. Yeah, so the November one lists the 3 years of experience. And then, part-time officers. Yeah, so the November one lists everything that was discussed, we just never got a motion on it. And the vote on it, it was my, impression that was approved then.
Yeah, the vote was made, then January was the only vote that I saw, but like, it's just showing the progression of discussion, so you all have that information, so. Like Chad said, November was a discussion of what it is, and then January minutes were the one that was a motion made, that's the only motion I could find that was made.
So I think what was left out of the motion was the shift differential wasn't in the minutes, and then the, being paid to be on call and for calls. We don't need a motion on the, if they have experience starting at, a higher step.
Don't, but we need it.
Just the shift differential and.
You want it, but being we made them for David, we should just clean it up, yeah, that's all.
So do we need to do all of these under number 1 separate, or can they all be lumped into one motion?
The wages could be one, but like his truck should be a separate.
So we can look at the shift differential and the,
Call
David.
and then,
Well, you would have to
so like I'm
rescind.
under number 1, the A, B, and C, can that motion be all one?
What's Mary looking at?
So number one, right, it has like this A, B, and C. Can I just make a motion for all of those for the corrections?
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
yep, mhm.
so I will make a motion to allow $1 per hour raise for the PD department, not a raise, excuse me. I will start over. I will make a motion to approve a shift differential of $1 per hour for hours worked between 4 PM and 6 AM for the police department. I will also make a motion to allow part-time officers who are placed on call to receive a quarter-hour pay for on-call status and 2 hours of overtime if called out. And I will also make a motion or include in my motion to say that if we are hiring part-time officers, they will be paid a shift differential per years of experience coming into this position.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to have a shift differential of $1 per hour for hours worked between 4 PM and 6 AM for the police department. Also, on call or part-time officers being on call will receive a quarter-hour pay for on-call status and 2 hours of overtime if called out. And part-time officers hired with experience will not start at step 1. We'll start at probably step 3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
With that motion passing, I will make a motion to. You want to say amend?
No, rescind.
Rescind, thank you,
Or
rescind,
we could amend it too, I guess.
amend it?
Yeah.
Okay, I will make a motion to amend the hiring vote that was done at our last meeting in April to change it, David Ditterman's step to be step 3 in correspondence with the motion that was just made prior.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve hiring part-time officer David Ditterman, moving him to step 3. As a result of the motion just passed because of his experience. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed.
Then the next one was the SWAT car. So attached to the grant that we got for it. And we had to July, I believe, was the discussion, right, Angela? 24?
It might have been August or September. When you
We
had
got
the
grant
discussion.
approved in August, but it was for $50,000 towards purchasing the squad through Sourcewell, and it was just a strictly law enforcement grant. We have to cover 25%, I think, which was like $12,500. It's all listed in the grant, so we have until August to spend those funds. The squads were not available to be ordered. I went through Jutter Motors through Chad Mueller. And we got the bid for it. It was $51,880, and they ordered it in January. They have not built it yet, so hopefully they will. He's hoping soon they will have that finished. But we never got the motion to approve to order the squad and place the squad. There was discussion, and that was I feel like the general consensus. We just didn't get the vote on it.
But at least have it ordered.
Yeah, I ordered it in January.
Okay. So I just wanna make sure for the record, I'm understanding correctly that we didn't approve it yet, but it has been ordered, just so I'm clear.
Yeah, it was my understanding that at the meeting's like, yeah, that's good, we should do that. And then we went on to the next thing, and there was never a motion in the second for it. And it wasn't available to be ordered until January, so he's got it ordered, we're just waiting for it. And I estimate like 15,000 probably for all the lights and upfitting and turning down the other squad, and I've got just over 15,000 on capital outlay right now, so. And the other squad will be sold at auction which should bring us at least 15,000 that can go back in the capital outlay too.
Does it have to be sold at auction?
Typically, when we do the auction, not like the seal bid, when we do auction, we get more money for it. But I know there was a suggestion of maybe the city crew wants to use it, or even the fire department, I think was a discussion. But we just keep it for the city. However, if we would do that, I mean, a lot of times the funds, every time the funds from the squad cars, when we sell them, goes back in the capital outlay to help cover the cost for the replacement car.
But
So,
we don't need to be in any hurry just to get rid of it. I
No.
mean, if this
yeah, we don't need,
vehicle that, if it hasn't been approved yet, there really isn't a reason to, we don't need to discuss right now even what, I mean, we should think.
What
about
we're
it.
gonna do with it.
What we should do with it,
Yeah.
but we definitely don't need to.
we can strip it, once it's stripped down, everything's done, it'll be just like the white one that's in the impound. And, we can decide what we wanna do with it then. If there's another use for the city for it, then great. I mean, it's only got 80-some thousand miles on it. Got a new tranny 2 years ago, and
And then talking about the white one in the city impound, how much is that used?
not a lot, I don't think.
Is it worthwhile for us to keep the white one? Or should we get rid of the white one?
Right.
You know, you
Right,
pay
I think.
Cabs and insurance, like Chad and I had a conversation, cabs and insurance on it. Is it being used enough to be paid for that? So we can discuss that too at the time that what we're gonna do with your pickup.
But it's potential, I mean, the fire department or the public works could probably have a lot more use out of that pickup than the SUV. So I guess what we just need now is just the formal approval motion to vote on the replacing the squad
So you're
car.
a $50,000 grant for a $52,000 vehicle.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchasing of the truck for $50,000. And that's it. The upfitting in your budget. So that,
What's that?
the upfitting's in your budget.
Yeah.
Just for the discussion part, the 12,500 and 25% matching, that can include in the updating of it.
Yes,
Is that correct?
so to get 50,000, we have to spend 12,500, so.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve purchase of police truck at the bid amount of $51,880 and outfitting cost of up to $15,000. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. And then could you give us, I know that you've been working with Arvik on the cameras.
Yes, they've installed all the cams except the one next to the pier on the light pole. They needed a power routed to it, and it wasn't there yet, so, Engel Electric came, did it, got that done. The 2 cameras are on the beach house, covering pretty much all the way around the whole beach house. They're waiting to come back to do that one, because all the cameras in City Hall are also installed, except it wasn't in the bid, but when they were here, we were looking at it. They ran the wiring for it, we just to put the camera in, because, Angela and I were discussing with them, what features we'd want that to have, and none of the cameras have audio. There was the feeling that I would have with it is the camera in front of the window there. It's when there's interactions with the public and for security reasons, if there's a threat or something like that made, to be able to have those conversations right there in front of the window be recorded. And it's just a matter of, do you want it to be activated from back behind City Hall with a button that they can record it when they want, or do you want it to be motion activated when someone steps right up to the window? Our security, they said that a lot of towns that they have just one that has audio, and it's usually one where customers come up and go up to the window. And they said they could do any number of things. They could have a light in that comes on when it's activated, either by the push of the button or motion, so that everyone back in City Hall sees it's on. There was concern raised about if it's recording right here, what else is it picking up? Is it gonna pick up the private conversation in the back corner or over in the hallway? And we just wanna try to kind of eliminate that. We would wanna get right there, whoever customers at the window and whoever city employee is on the other side of the window, just to get that. So we have in case of any threats, or any accusations made, then they have it. So, and the wire was ran to it, so Arving's waiting to get a decision on that. When they get that, they'll come in and install a camera there, if that's what we wanna have there, and then they'll throw the last one up at the beach.
Are we gonna have more than one camera here in City Hall?
Well, there's one up in front here,
Okay,
up in the corner covering the front door. There's one in the back corner, to the back of the building covering that back door. And there's one over on the back corner of the building covering the side door
okay.
and the rest of the impound. And they only record when there's motion. And I think the main part of the computer, it's all wherever the IT's at, in your back room, right?
Where all IT is.
It's all back there, and then they can assign who has access to, go in and review it and do all that, they can change those different things. It was also mentioned that maybe, like the liquor store has a panic button. Maybe they want a panic button, but then it gets into we want a panic button, then we need to have some type of security on the doors, because there's no alarm in this building,
Mhm.
so. And that can be done later, everything can be added in later, but the wiring's there, and it's just the type of camera that they would wanna put in there, and that wasn't bid. But we did get it, everything's covered in the grant, so that would just be an addition.
But I like the idea of a camera.
I think I have some comments I'd like to make. It's City Hall, I prefer if we're gonna have voice that it's activated by us, because when I talked to the IT guy, he said it could be remotely activated, so somebody could eavesdrop per se and just turn it on and off, and I feel as far as our privacy and having our conversations would be better. If we felt we're in concern that we would just activate it if we want voice. I personally don't feel like it's necessary to have voice, and when I talked to the Arvig guy when he was here, he said that this would be their first endeavor trying to put voice on it, because it doesn't come with the cameras. This is a new thing to add the voice to it, so they don't typically do voice on it. And the other second thing I'd want is, we were gonna have like a workshop and have some discussion on it, but I would like to have a policy that says who has access and what the access is for and what it's used for, because looking into it with the league, there are some requirements of notifying employees when you have cameras there that they are on camera, and some requirements of who can access it and how they can be used. So I think it would be wise to have that in place, and I could get some samples of those other cities if you'd like to review, and we can talk about it at the workshop too again, but I would recommend that we get some policies on it.
Yeah, and I have no problem with this. My concern is, I would really like to at least have your capability to get audio. You know, you may never use it, but there's the one time that you may need to. So it'd be really nice to know that you have the capability to press a button to record it.
Well, and we had vandalism at the city beach, and so even just to know, not that I could imagine anybody come up and vandalizing City Hall, but at least to have motion activated if something were to happen, at least it would be recorded, which would be nice, and I can vouch for myself, we have cameras at our house, it's nice to know what's happening at night. There are so many things that happen around outside my house that I would have never even knew happened.
Nobody wants to have their conversations video recorded, so.
No.
Having some control over that is reasonable.
So yeah, if you want to, if you want to get us some samples,
Sure.
and we can at least move ahead with knowing that we're gonna put a camera there, whether we have the voice or not. We can, like I say, if you want to get us some samples on that.
Yeah.
But like I say,
The camera's just gonna be on the window, from behind.
It was basically right up behind the window. And it would be a 360 when it consents, but they can set it to have it just like one little grid. someone's right in front of the window, that's when it would trip.
Visually, you should see the face of the person at the window, not our staff person, for the most part, right? We want to see who's at the window. All right.
Yeah, well, we'll get them walking in,
Oh,
every one of the doors.
that's the idea.
They did suggest too, maybe having one right at the top of the stairs here, pointing down this hallway. And that would be one that, when the lady would hear the door beep, they could just have that one
See
on
it,
their
you can see
computer,
who's coming.
and they can just look up. Because those mirrors right now, you really can't see who's coming up in it, but
You can tell somebody's there.
if they did one just right there at the top of the stairs pointing down, and
Put a monitor
that would
inside
get
the door.
whoever's walking up, they could have it on one of their screens, and they could just see it, and see who's coming up the stairs. And that one was no audio at all, what they said. The only place there was one audio was, he said if they needed to, and I think having a push button, they have control over it. A light in the back shows when it's recording, in case they need it. I think that would be good. I think they could probably, was the one in the hallway on the bid too, Angela?
No, it was
Or was
just
it just
outside.
3 doors?
Mhm.
Maybe we just do just the one in the hallway, and we're coming up, and then ever look into any type of policy thing that you need on it. When I call Ivory, you can tell them to just have to come up and just do the beach one and get that done. Or if you wanna wait for any inside at all until we get any policy,
And that would be fine with me, let's get the beach one done.
Yeah.
And then if you can get us some information about policy for interior,
Mhm.
and we'll address that next week.
Okay, thank you.
then I'll just tell them they need to come and do the beach.
Yeah.
And we're waiting on anything inside, but everything else, he said is up and running. He's gonna, do some training with us to show us how we retrieve it from the beach. The beach isn't hooked up to the internet or anything, so if something happens at the beach, we have to go down there, download it, bring it back and then watch it. Here it would be accessible if whoever they wanna give it, have access to it, would be able to log in and just look at it. Which I would suggest the supervisors up here should have access, and probably the mayor and maybe even another council member, in case something needs to be reviewed. But we'll get the beach finished off, and then at the workshop, discuss the rest of that. Impound fence, it's a little over $2,000 to get the fence back up. I think I talked about using the last 2 vehicles that we sold that were in there, use the funds from that to pay for fixing the fence. And then whatever's left, not covered, I've got, forfeiture funds, $1,000, so cover the rest of it. And then, once that's up and done, I think we'll discuss at the workshop, be nice to set up a fund for the impound lot, that when we take a vehicle, we have up to $250 storage that we can charge if we have to have that, and then any vehicles that are abandoned that we sell, or even portions of the forfeiture funds, just have an account that money that is collected from that goes into account, so when we do need to repair the fence or put gravel in there or do anything like that, we have the money set for it. No, we can just discuss that at the workshop. I think that is all I had on there.
And while you're up here, you might as well tell us about your ordinance, the administrative citation, which is like.
Person that has still the end of the month from before to finish their work. Otherwise, the citation that was issued to them will be followed through on. They stayed any type of fine or anything and gave them until the end of this month to make the repairs. But the vast majority of them sent a few letters out, and we're waiting until right after cleanup day to see how, looks like 1, 2, there'd be 2 of the letters that got sent out will be getting revisited after this weekend after cleanup day, to see their progress. And if there isn't any, then we will be doing administrative citations.
It is really nice. It is really nice to see how many people have gotten things accomplished already.
Yep. And let's hope the rest is gonna use the city thing at the end,
Yeah.
hope so.
Well, and the police will go around again and pick up for when our physically unable to bring their stuff down. I think when I looked on Friday, there was 2 people signed up. We'll probably get
We have 3 more today.
3 one day.
It's the week up.
So,
All right, thank you.
okay. All right, thank you.
You talked to Aaron?
Yeah, a little bit, not much about this stuff, actually.
Did you say Garrett visited with you this afternoon?
Yes, I think the first one, self-explanatory, second one on his summer lawn, when he said he had some street equipment fund, otherwise his street mill and overlay, he doesn't feel he would use all of it, so he could transition some of that money to help pay for his lawn. If he'd like to do that and make that adjustment when we do these other budget amendments, we can make that change. We just need a dollar amount, what the council would like to see him approve for and move forward. Currently, he is working right now.
Okay,
Was that just last year, was that just a random, like a salary almost?
Well, he is paid by the hour, but he started in June and he was done in October. Now we're starting in middle of May, so it might be a little bit more if we wanted to go that long. And he got a $1 raise, so if you wanna have him that whole summer, you probably have to go up to probably 7,000, I would say, to be safe.
Why didn't we budget or why didn't?
Well, there was discussion last year during budget time that we hired a 4th public works guy, that he would be doing mowing, and he would spend some of his time mowing. And so they weren't really willing to pay for a summer help guy to mow. So they wanted to have him do it. Darren doesn't feel that we should have him sit on the mower all summer. He wants to get other things done, so he'd like to have this part-time guy help, which he's really good. You know, he goes and does his job, he's quick and efficient, and so he doesn't necessarily want to lose him either, so he wants to keep him busy. But that is the reason why it wasn't budgeted for. And if we say, you know, he has so much money, then that's what he has to use them for, and you might have to put the guy on a mower here and there, and that's what you have to stay within.
Well, I'll make a motion to replace the guardrails on lift station 3 for the $7,402.
motion's been made and seconded to approve replacing the guardrail rails on lift station number 3 for $7,402. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
I make a motion to pay Dan $6,500 for the summer.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve summer lawnmower in the amount of $6,500 for 2025. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
We have a lot of people sign up for summer watering.
We probably have about 35 or 40 people that do sign up. And we do get people that have already asked, and I'm like, well, we gotta see if they approve it. But as you can see in there, there's a flat rate or a sewer rate, and then they get billed per 1,000 gallons. So we actually have the rate set at a flat rate for sewer, so they're actually saving money in the sewer, not the water. And so that way, if they are doing more than like an average person, then they're watering their lawns and doing that, it's not going down the sewer, they're getting a break that way.
Perfect.
We did not do this last year, correct? 'Cause
We did not, but the
discouraged
water
them.
tower was, out of commission, and we said we're not gonna encourage people to use more water, so we did not.
Motion to approve the summer water rate from June to September.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the summer water rate from June to September for 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. And then we have a bill from Eagle Construction.
I'll make a motion to pay the Eagle Construction bill, for the water plant improvements of $201,009.36.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve Eagle Construction Bill number 16 for $201,009.36. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
Who made second that one?
Laura.
Laura, okay, sorry, I missed that.
According to what Eric had sent us on the main lift station advertisement for bids, it looks like we probably should advertise for that pretty soon, or Eric needs to get those some quotes first before we advertise.
He doesn't need to, his comment, maybe a little confusing, was that they don't, when you take bids now, they don't hold them
Yeah.
for very long, so he wants some approval, so once he gets it, he can put it out, and then they can award, and you don't have to wait for a meeting, so he will get them in kind of the meantime, and then he's already got approval to move forward, so that's why. And he can have the date closer to our next meeting and then get approval right away, yeah.
So can I have a motion to approve advertising for bids?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve to advertise for bids for the main lift station. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. And Amber cannot be here tonight, but she sent you some information for us.
Syntax, this is what I got here, and said, we ordered a lily pad, and we had talked to Angela and Darren about it. We'll make sure the signage is correct before putting it in the water. We did check with insurance. We also ordered a paddleboard to see if it will get used. The playground equipment has arrived. The pier is in, ribbon cutting at the pier in June at the beach party, which I believe is the 22nd, and we have that in here. That's what Community Day went well today.
Good.
That was important.
Thank you. Our committee, approval of meetings, and we have a bill from WS.
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of the park committee from April 29th, 2025.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve minutes of the park committee from April 29, 2025. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Motion to approve WSB invoice of $9,063. The consulting invoice of $750.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve WSB design invoice for $9,063 and consulting invoice for $750. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Sharon? Doesn't look like Sharon. Oh, Sharon. Oh, I'm sorry.
She isn't here, she was ill and she didn't let Craig know, but I did give you a sheet on the table today. She's just looking for some approval to hire this Jackie Smith or to enroll her in the first responders Jackie Smith so she can start classes this month.
June 20th, reclass. We did meet with her last month at the first responder meeting. We interviewed her, sat down with her. So.
Motion to approve.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve, Jackie Smith for the first responders. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Next up is open floor. Do we have anybody that would like to?
Fire department.
Oh my gosh. Right, I need to forget that.
Yeah, of course I will.
Even present.
That's because I didn't throw it out of my little pile and I was like,
I'd be questioning it and I'd put it back in my file.
So you've got a copy of our report. We had 6 calls for the month of April, 2 kitchen fires, 2 grass fires, a power line down on 8th Avenue, and 1 mouse fire. So we had our pancake feed on May 4th, served 433 people. Thanks to everybody that was there and their donations, we appreciate it. We did get our iPads installed in our fire trucks and the frontline trucks, and now we do have a tablet in there. Part of the big thing with that is all of our mapping is on it. So the same Active 9 map you get, like what law enforcement gets, is on our cell phones, but everybody's trying to go with this, their phone. So we put tablets in there, so when they get in the truck, they just tap on it, it pulls it up, the map is right there. We've got them set up now, and the first truck's pulling in the driveway, that once they get there, they can hit the camera, they can flip it over to video, so they can kind of pan the driveway and get a recording what they see when they pull in. And then to get away from any issues of legality with our phones, we can now grab a tablet and take that out, and we use that for our photos and taking our pictures. So I've got 1 left that I didn't get put in yet for the first responders. They'll have 1 too for mapping. So there's a total of 4 of them. So, and that was, I guess, $20 a month for the service on them, and then they have them, so. It'd be a big benefit just for people, just, being able to pull them up, hit the map and know right where you're going, so.
and handy too, you can take pictures with them now.
Yep, rather than our cell phone, and,
Yep.
we've never ran into a legality issue, but it's 2025 and it can happen at any time, so. Just moving forward with the way the industry is and
Mm-hmm.
seeing it's time to start, so. Next on there, I just had, moving forward, was the, fireworks. Last year we did $7,500. Typically in May, I've kind of given them an idea, say, hey, let's plan for this amount after the cleanup, then we move into June, then we can finalize it. So just kind of looking if we want to stick around that 7,500, if you want to go more or less, I mean,
Our price is pretty close to the same.
really close, yep, there's a little bit of a jump, but not much, so I mean, it'll still be 20 to 25 intro, so.
Awesome.
I mean, I'd like to go more, but that's up to you guys to make that decision, and so.
Those are key, how much you got in the fund?
We have almost 7,000 right now, and I actually,
We're already, I mean, without any donations coming in, like right now, we're sitting right there, so.
yeah.
I mean, we could say, hey, let's do 75 or 8,000 and make a final decision in the June meeting.
Yeah, I did do request to gambling groups, so I did hear from one of them, but the other ones I haven't. They said they would give $1,000, but like any year, if we have more, we just leave it in there for the next year. And then the cleanup day, whatever we gain off that goes in there too.
I'll make a motion for 8,000 for the.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve $8,000 for the fireworks for 2025. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. And I just have one more thing is, I did talk to Chad a little bit today, and I'll talk with Angela more on it, but the house fire we had, the fire doors were blocked for the community center. So I don't know how we go about trying to post it.
It's a note on my work.
I was at the fire hall on Saturday when the crafters were cleaning up. And if we'd got a call, we could have got a truck out. I just made it, hey, you can't be parking here. Got a few snarls, but they did get in their vehicle and move. I mean, if you guys are driving by and you see the cars there, don't be afraid to stop.
Yeah.
You know, Chad too, that time when we had the house fire, he was out, so they had a part-timer on call. So I did call dispatch, said, hey, we need to get somebody up there. They actually had to take one row of trucks, back them up, pull one truck forward, back one truck up and come out the next door to get out, So if you guys are, I mean, if you see it,
Yeah,
you know, and I don't know if we want to try painting lines out there, I don't know if that would help. You know, it's clearly marked right there, no parking.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if it needs to be a sign that says no loadout zone, I mean, I don't know how. Because that's what they're doing, they're cleaning out the community center when,
So where was this person parked or what were they?
they didn't find them, they were over in Tip Top when they didn't find them. They had
They
parked,
weren't just like, center,
No.
it was this way.
the house fire one, they were actually parked in front of the fire hall doors in Tip Top. When I walked in there Saturday, when I went over to get ice cream, then when they were parked there, and that was my intent, is just, when I seen them all, I stopped, and then I went, I gotta walk through and, like, I'm gonna get something, went to get ice cream, had a conversation, they all did move, but it was not, you know, the pleasantest, I mean,
yeah, just realize, I mean,
well, they should, I mean, but it's all it takes is one to start the bad, the parking, and they're like, oh, well, we can park, or it's only a couple minutes, and I get it, it's only a couple minutes,
and that's all
but
it takes for
that's
you
all it
to.
takes, if you're not in your vehicle.
Yeah.
You know,
How much would it cost to paint the
Yeah.
lines out there?
well, we just talked to Darren, they have
Perfect.
everything to do it, if we wanted to paint the truck lines right to there, and then we could label it right out front, then we'd have a straight line with every door backing in, if that's what we wanna do.
Would that help you guys out as well, Becky? I mean, let's.
It will. No, it will, I mean, it'll help, and it'll be a good way to label it and say, hey, no parking, you know, fire lane, something right across the front, on the ground.
I would honestly make a motion to paint it.
Okay, I'll talk with Darren if you guys are on board, and we can get it clearly marked, I mean,
Motion has been made and seconded to, paint, lines up front of, City Hall, or, excuse me, fire station to prevent, no parking there. All in favor say aye.
I
Opposed, same sign.
And I think a lot of it
Motion
is
carried.
just, excuse me,
Yeah,
I
that's
apologize for interrupting, but I think
complacency.
a lot of it is, and people from out of town.
Yep.
That they don't realize that that truly is fire hall.
Yep,
No, I think that would be lovely, and yeah, my
I'll
daughter,
talk with Darren on it too, and we'll get something put together, and
Perfect.
beautiful,
work with Chad, and we can get something, so.
thank you.
All right, if you need anything, let me know, so, thank you.
Sorry, I overlooked you.
You're fine, thank you.
Now we will move to anybody have anything on open floor, or do you wanna wait till the Levine's comes up?
Last time I didn't know that I was supposed to add this part saying, I might have some questions later, so I don't know. So I'm just trying to.
Your fault.
I just wanna make sure I'm,
If no one has anything for open floor, we will move on to our next item of business, Levine's Lakeview Drive. And I see we have, received a couple of quotes for gravel out there.
They're falling.
I was gonna say, I saw a gravel truck, so.
Good. Greg was cheaper by a quarter.
Yes,
Something per yard. So Greg started hauling out last week,
last week,
Thursday or Friday somewhere.
that's all last week.
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of them done last week. So I think Darren said, the next thing, they're gonna dig out some culverts down there. Get some water flowing better through the ditches, and that's all I know.
Okay, the question I had is the last, or 2 times ago, when you were here, Tim, you were gonna contact Punky. What I'm, and other ones I've talked to, is the frost boils. Are they gonna be taken care of
So they have to be there,
when there's actually a
right?
You can't just
you
go
can't
because the neighbors know exactly where the spots are, so.
Right,
Because if we have to wait now till another year, until next
right.
frost time then, I mean,
So
because,
basically, that's what Darren was saying, you gotta wait
wait until that frost boil's right there in the spring, and it's happening, that's where you're digging out.
So, we're going to do work on the road, put money into the road, and then wait till next year, and then it boils up, and then we have to go and dig it up and take care of it then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Can't dig out something that's not there.
right. I mean,
know,
I get it that you could go out there and tell us there's a frost boil here 3 years ago. But not now, you know.
Okay, so then, so that part, so now you're saying they're gonna work on the culverts, correct? Okay, cause I know, well, talking to one neighbor, if nothing happens, he's gonna try to put his own culverts in, because you can say exactly where the water sits. So, and I did, as I always walk around and look, I did see where they were cleaning out, the one culvert was there, and I did see where they were doing the little, kind of like we did as a, you have your little runways, and I did see they were doing that, just trying to get the water, but even after the rain, and they did that, and then we got a rain, the water was still sitting, like where your sister used to live.
Yeah.
It really sits there, and then over by Morsette's really sits there, and then over kind of by you,
Between Ferris's and us.
yes, the water just sits there, and after this happened after they did the culverts and the little trails.
Right.
So what I'm wondering is if they do this, so they're not even thinking, are you guys even thinking about that boring system or anything to try to, or are you gonna put additional culverts in, or just put bigger culverts in that already exist?
So he wasn't talking about putting any new culverts in, he was just talking about cleaning out, so like,
The runways type, or,
no, there's some culverts back there that are plugged, right?
right,
Can't remember exactly where he told me they were at. They're in the woods, basically, in the swamps and the brush.
Right.
That need to get cleaned out, that they're jam-packed full of stuff and nothing's running.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we haven't talked about piling at all anymore since
no
that
boring
first
system,
time.
none of that.
Right.
Because I did see many trucks go, that's like a dust ball now, many trucks of gravel going in or whatever, and then the sides being taken down or cleaned or whatever the word is there. Did see a lot of that, so a lot of work has been done in the last week.
Yeah.
But I was just concerned about if some of the things that should be done,
Like tiling and stuff.
right, because you're putting this money and effort into it, but are you really fixing the issue?
So can I possibly ask, do you know where the water table is for back there? So I'm just concerned, is it something that where you guys are having this water settle, if everything, the culverts and everything are clear, is the water table, is that ditch just so low that it's below the water table
No.
where it's gonna be
It
sitting?
is below the water table. The issue with the ditch, or at least some of the ditches, is over the years, they were low, but there's different spots where the grass grew up, or they're like in front of our place. Most of the ditch flows freely, but there's one spot that is maybe, I would say, 6 feet long, where it has built up, and if they just dug that down about 6 inches, the water would flow freely. It's not that the water level, the table is not that high.
Okay, that's what I was just making
Our wells
sure.
are, how deep is your well? Ours is 78
Yeah.
feet. It's not the water table.
Okay,
But where the water flows, just like any ditch, the grass and the weeds and everything, and the ones, rocks and stuff like that. But in general, I think it's just because the road and the lawns are basically the same, where if you got the road up and some drainage on the side for the water to go,
Right.
at least it would know where to go to the culvert, it doesn't really have any direction right now.
No,
And
and
that's kind of what I'm talking about is there's a really good ditch going around the bottom part of the loop. And that's where we are. And part of the ditch is filled in kind of with the grass and the weeds. And it would be pretty simple just to take it down a few inches and then it would flow a lot better.
I mean, there's a ditch around the circle, most behind Wessel's there that goes, and then it goes under the road, there's a culvert that would go into, not Lake Stevens, but the other side, whichever that lake
It
is,
goes through Calpeen's lot.
and it goes there. So if there was any boring done for the other neighbors that would help it connect to that area, it would naturally just flow into that. So that's why I was hoping, if we're getting all this road work done, we would at least get that main thing done, so the water would just flow naturally.
Or Darren said that there was something plugged up going out,
Yeah.
so is that, or do we have a plug, I mean, are we plugged where you're talking about it goes into?
Well, the one culvert, which is the empty lot, which is, would be where Morset's and Chris Green lives, there's a culvert in between there. And that, then you'll see there's a natural ditch that takes it to this other lake, not Lake Stevens, but the other side. So, and I thought it looked kind of, when I looked in the culvert, like they maybe tried to clean that, but maybe not. They did over here, like behind Wessel's, push that side, which made it, I don't know, better or worse, because now the rocks slid into that ditch. So, and then the weeds are tall, so if you try to get them cleaned out so that water could flow, you know, and then if by Morset's there, he has water sitting around that curve terribly, where that would be this natural boring that you could have done, just to take it to that ditch. I mean, there's a couple things there, and the road would stay much drier. I mean, there's those 3 spots where the water just sits. I mean, we're talking days after the rain, which normally, most of the road you'll see, you know, dry up, no big deal. But there, the puddles were just sit for a long time. So I was just hoping that with all this work, if you don't get that cleaned out and, or some sort of boring done to get the water there, I don't want all this work and money to be wasted.
I actually have that same problem on the corner that hasn't been fixed for
Right.
over 10 years.
Yeah, water will sit there too, yes, so
Yep.
it's just if you don't fix it, then we're just, I don't know, it seems like we're just gonna, I mean, I know you really like it when I come to your meeting, but I'll have to be here forever. You know, cause this will go on and on, because I really want it to get fixed right, and then, you know,
Right. I will talk to them about boring some drain tiles or, you know, I don't know if it's this city's problem to add culverts under driveways. I mean,
I think the culverts are under the driveways already, and that's not, I don't think that's what she's talking
we
about.
have
The grass.
culverts, yeah, it's just
like my
that,
sister's old house, she didn't, is there,
I
maybe
don't
there's a culvert
think
under
there's
there,
one
but
there, I don't think there's one there,
Right.
no.
Which one is your sister's old house? Oh, the
it
eighth,
would be
yes.
different.
But I mean, it wouldn't like have, everything wouldn't have to be bored, it would just be these couple of places to get it to the culverts, you know? Cause there is one, space where like Calhoun's new house where that would go naturally down. And then right before that, after Chris Green's, there's a place there that has a culvert that takes it naturally. There would just have, it wouldn't be every place that have to have boring done.
Right.
It would just be those that would get it to this main, to get it to a couple of the places where it would drain.
Okay.
You know?
Do you think, I mean, I just want a reason, like something that would be reasonable. Do you think we could have a conversation like with Darren and maybe at part of our workshop, if you could come, so we could just not, like, I don't wanna waste your guys' time, and if we keep kicking the can, we're just gonna still keep kicking the can. Like, let's make a plan and either, yep, we're definitely gonna do this, this, and this, or sorry, no, we don't do that, and let's just get an answer, because I feel like we've been talking about this for a really long time.
Would it
Would
be,
it make sense? I'm sorry.
would it be okay, say, cause like, Doug, it's his son that worked for the board, could it be okay if I just asked him if that company could just like give an estimate, or not if they charge it, just to come and look and say, you know, on a small scale, what would be the possibility here? You know, not saying to hire them or nothing, just to see if we could just get an idea.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then get the culverts cleaned or whatever, do that, but at least you would have an idea, and all of us would have an idea.
Right,
Just to see, is it a possibility, if it's way over, then no can
Right.
you know, but at least we would know where we're sitting at.
And we're gonna have to get Darren here.
right, that's what I'm saying, if we have Darren here and.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're doing a great job, but I'm just saying, if
Right.
we're still, you know, if we're getting rain on Thursday or whatever, and we find this water still sitting there, you know, or, and then I waste everything.
Would it make sense to, I haven't talked to you about this yet, would it make sense to have Darren out to Levine's and whoever can meet with him, just walk through and say, this is where we have the problem, this is, can you do this? So we're all looking at it physically instead of saying, well, this is here, this is there. you know, pick a time and whoever wants to talk to him, come out and talk to him. We're reasonable people most of the time, right?
He went out and talked to Doug and Sue one day he said he spent a half hour, 45 minutes.
Okay.
But, yeah, he said that was a good conversation
And maybe if he could come and talk to, and talk to us or Ferris's, because we're sitting kind of at the end.
Mhm.
And, the lot that we have across the road pretty much backs up also, and they a lot of dirt in there.
Can I ask an odd question? So Paulette, you talked about people having like lots of grass and lots of just buildup over the years. This may be the country girl in me, but has anyone just like taken a shovel and just made its path the way it's supposed to go?
Well, that's kind of what,
That's what we're talking about.
Well, and that's what I'm just saying, like, has any residential person, like, okay, I have water here, it needs to get to culvert here, I take my spade and make a path and let it run.
well, like, for example, the ditch that runs along Wessels is a fairly large one, and I'm not sure, since it is a ditch, does it actually belong, you know, or is it to the city? I don't know how much you can do. Also in the country, you're not allowed to dig, you know, if there's a waterway, you have to.
Well, cause you're
permits and
digging it
stuff.
to set
Right.
water, and I'm not talking
So, I don't know.
like feet down, I'm talking like, we have a waterway, I take my spade and I spade it right
Yeah.
along so the water flows where I want it to. Is that like what you're
Well,
looking at
that
this city to
example,
do?
they do have a ditch where the other side, say, like my Ferris's and there's not really, he would have to like physically put some sort of culverts and have drainage because,
There's a culvert under Ferris's driveway.
yes, but it's, we were discussing this, it's just like, it's one of the plastic pipings, but it's like right under. And, that was there when he moved there, so, if nothing's done, he would probably be due to get that and more part of the yard, just because. But,
And I'm just thinking for residential people, if it's something when you talk, it's long grass, it's,
that was
Build
just a couple places there that.
that's why I'm just wondering, is it something, do you just take a spade and go right through the middle of that long grass and help that water just flow?
That one spot you could, but the rest of the areas is just road long, same. There's no valley to it.
Kind of the issue is, the question is how far is city property and how far is residential property? Because a resident can't be digging up city property. And there's so many feet from the center of the road that goes and that belongs to the city. And I'm thinking, I don't remember what it is, but that, to be honest, as far as grass goes beyond that, but there's, and you can't, I don't think you can really, can do that, you should do that. It's a good idea though, I mean, it's not a bad idea, but I'm not sure you can actually do it.
We'll have to touch base with Darren and see what our,
I'll talk to him again tomorrow and then we'll like workshop coming up here. And we can all talk to him again then.
Let's put that on the workshop.
I just have, just a question, going back to the frost a little bit. Is that just a real narrow window, in the spring, end of March, 1st of April, whatever, that you can actually find? Well, the frost boils are hot, how the heck do you find
So
where the boils are so you can correct it?
what was it, 8th? Is it 8th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, this year on 8th was a terrible bad one, right where the pavement stops and the gravel starts. And it was just nasty, and that's what you're gonna find, right? That's what you guys are having troubles with certain years.
Yeah.
But it's just depends on frost depth and how fast it comes out, and
Only have about a week, don't you?
I mean,
Not very long.
So then you're saying we'd mark it,
but you'd know it, cause you'd have, you'd go around it, you wouldn't drive through it even.
Yeah.
Right?
exactly,
Yeah. So, like Darren did this on 8th, he marked it out. They never dug that one up, they just added some gravel and. Nothing else where they could.
So would we be smart in the spring if somebody notices a frost boil, get a hold of Darren and say,
Absolutely.
come on out and
Yep.
mark it so that,
Yep,
okay.
absolutely.
Because I think we all actually know where they are, but I can understand where you can't take our word for it and start putting it on the road.
I know when I talked to him too, I'm hoping he did what he said he was gonna do, make 3 or 4 passes over, a couple of weeks to watch to see if they were.
They did, they were coming through real often,
Yeah,
so.
yes, they were looking for those straw spoils, and he told me too, he said sometimes they won't come back next year. So you'll just have to keep watching, if we don't see anything this year, we'll have to watch next spring and.
I also have a question, and I guess I'm gonna bring up every time is 8th Avenue, yes, no, pavement? No?
No.
But at least they will think about it.
But we denied the feasibility study, so,
Feasibility studies have never,
well, we have to have infrastructure there to tar it, I think,
you have to have what, excuse me?
infrastructure. Water sewer. So yeah, right now it's, I don't think, council, am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Because it's in our ordinance, that's one thing that we had talked about last meeting, is that to pave a road, we need to have that water and sewer.
Even though that was stated right in from the person here that
And that was part of the feasibility schedule.
they said it wouldn't be feasible to do it because of where, but now that's.
Correct, but it's part of our comprehensive plan, it's part of our big picture plan, the city plan. It would be a city road that would be paved, so to put that money into a road, it would, longevity wise, thinking big picture, 20 years from now, yeah, you don't want it now, but 20 years from now, someone else may be in that spot and want city water and sewer, so the hookups have to be there.
Even though Gordon Township said they faced a count of it, it's still a definite.
Well, it was million, I mean, it was over $1 million, so I don't think they're gonna pay.
But since if the liquor store can get, the same, why can't we get the same where I got the bid and it wasn't over $1 million too? 8th Avenue was like much, much less.
It wasn't apples to, it was comparing two, and I totally get it, I'm not trying to argue with you, I'm just simply stating that is what the information that was brought to us, and as a council, we have to make the decisions based on what the rules are for the entire city, not just for people living on 8th Avenue that want a strip of it, because if we just say, yeah, that's fine there, we really would open up a can of worms. We can't.
The fact is, the road would have to be built up.
Right, it's
We
not,
didn't have a bid.
They said 8th Avenue, didn't need much work at all. Levine, yes. 8th Avenue, they said, no, it already had the ditches, it didn't need hardly any.
But the road base would have to be made for it to
That's why they said
have
that.
tar on it, it wasn't just gonna be a 3-inch lift is what Riley said he would do a bid for, so it was a lot more expensive than that, cause it wasn't necessarily to our road
The bid I got from
standards.
Riley's,
Yeah, it wasn't to a road standard that we.
because when I talked to, I think his name was Greg, he told me, he goes, 8th Avenue, he goes, that one is very good, you wouldn't hardly need much done to it. And he goes, we could pay that. Very
Not
nice.
according to our engineers.
I mean, yeah, essentially you could, but you don't wanna pave the road without digging it down, fabricating it and building a good base and then putting your road down. Cause the problem still exists underneath that 3-inch pavement,
Right.
It's yeah.
So yeah, and here, it all comes back to city ordinance. And to pave that road, we're gonna have to look at infrastructure. If we're gonna do infrastructure along there to nobody, we might as well do it to you, and you don't wanna pay the cost of putting infrastructure in right now. So I think it's not gonna happen. Anything else you'd like to?
Crushed gravel or something, crushed granite, it's like a dust bowl right now. But
Well, they will, put,
hopefully just
Chloride.
small.
Chloride
Sorry.
on that,
Yeah,
make this
because when we
gravel.
moved there, they had way too much, and, it was like a grease bomb. I mean, I'm trying to, yeah, actually, it was like it was constant, like you were, like it had just rained all the time, so, but whatever, it is the way to do it.
We hire somebody to do it,
Yeah.
so.
It was probably
However,
just
they
had
apply.
piled up maybe too much.
Right, and that can happen over years, you know. I think we just need a motion on kind of what you ordered from Greg already, but a motion on the low bid.
Mostly go to G&K, then I gravel.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to use G&K sand and gravel for gravel for Levine Lakeview Drive. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And WSB is not here this evening, and I know Stephanie, you had a few questions about Pike Street, we tabled it for this meeting.
You want me to gather some stuff that you have questions on, or?
I don't think it's, I mean, I would love to do it, but I think we have so many other things that we have going on this year that it's not even really worth it, to be honest. And truly, the original topic of having that part paved was for the business that was gonna come in with all those shipping containers, and that doesn't seem like it's the issue.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything more about that.
It's still on hold, yeah, I talked to him last week. Not quite ready.
Okay, so then we still have pending the feasibility study for Pike Street. Do we want to deny that? Or do we want to just table this to a further meeting?
Personally, for me, I think we have enough other moving parts for this summer to deny it. Budget wise, I don't think that's really in our realm this year. We have a lot of other things that, for me personally, need to get done before this block and a half of work.
Some of the grant things was really.
Yeah,
And it was
and
probably
that
like-
grant did not meet our standards. So I would make a motion to deny the feasibility schedule for Pike Street.
Motion has been made and seconded to deny the feasibility study for the Pike Street project. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I'm putting together a workshop for the snow removal ordinance with the supervisors, Tim and I. I just talked to Tim this evening, so I was getting hold of the supervisors to see if we could set up a Friday morning to get together to address that, so we should have maybe a little bit of information at the June meeting.
We had somebody at planning and zoning meetings that suggested that maybe we should get some public input at some point in that process.
Oh, we will. Yeah, we will. Yep. Just a reminder, cleanup day is set up for this Saturday, May 17th, between 9 and 11. The Lions are gonna be able to help. STS Todd County and Douglas County will be there to help. Hope Douglas County Incinerator will have their hazardous trailer there. So anybody that has anything that they wanna get rid of, bring it out. That's out at the liquor store, correct, Angela?
That is correct. 9 to 11.
Between 9 and 11.
They don't take concrete, they'll do these things.
I think it's up to 1 cubic yard.
And we're also having and I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank, the Osakis,
The Lake
thank you,
Association, yes.
they're gonna be there as well, thank you
Yes.
very much. I'm excited, hopefully it's a great turnout.
On to the beach and our lifeguards, Angela has, received an application from Ken Cruz. Oh my gosh, help me say the name.
Oschlager.
Oschlager, to be a lifeguard for this summer.
Let's hire her. Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to hire Emerald Lou Oschlager as a lifeguard for 2025 at a rate of $15, contingent on background, drug test and certification. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Just a reminder that next Monday at 5:30, we're going to have the gambling organizations come into the quarterly meeting.
Is the council running their meeting or is the CDA? It was the council last.
I believe the council would still run it, the EDA is also part of it,
As I say, the EDA has their meeting just prior to that, so.
yes.
We'll discuss some of that other stuff.
So yeah, we can at least have a quorum of the council here on Monday the 19th. Randy and I, of course, will be here.
You're also.
Thank you.
So you don't have to be?
No, we would love to see.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
It's in my.
Did you have?
Welcome sign to Osakis. EDA has, David Schroeder's and Jokum Wiener, working on this project, and they will update the council when this is finalized.
I think it was actually Brian. What's it changed? Either way.
Brian, you're probably correct. Brian Ferris.
Brian Ferris, but, and thank them for, I took some pictures. We don't think it's anything structural, just, they got a plan, so.
I know that permit is gonna renew in February 2026. When do we have to have that submitted to MinDOT?
I guess I don't know for sure the date. They said they were gonna send out reminders now and they sent them out a few months before that.
Okay.
So they want us to do what we need to do this summer, so then by February we would be able to
Sounds
have
good.
that approved, yeah.
And the council doesn't want any other changes, right? We're just gonna kind of try to repair.
Correct.
Yes.
Another thing,
Yeah.
it sounds like we should do that change now. If there's something else.
Yes.
I'm wondering, this is a little off topic. We had the solar panel running the light forever, but it kept disappearing. I'm wondering in this day and age when solar panels are kind of all over, if maybe that system might be able to get back up and running, just something. Prior life, when I was on the council, we couldn't keep one on the pole, it disappeared all the time.
Yeah, I remember
I'm
that.
just wondering if maybe nowadays we could get that system up and running, so it could be done, so. I don't know.
We should
who put
maybe
the
add
system
that
in.
to our wish list for gambling.
Hey,
Perfect, thank you.
I mean, it'd be nice to, it should be nice.
I mean, the batteries might need to be replaced or something, but I just dawned on me when I started about, actually, when I took pictures of it.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3 times it
We kind of just gave up.
got blinks and walked away. Okay.
Do we know who actually installed that? Do we have any history on
I
it?
could find some, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Maybe, that'd be a place to start, maybe anybody could do it too. And we can talk about it if we need to.
I can do some digging for you.
Wastewater project I&I, we're gonna start doing the, televising, and of course, the cost is like astronomical for the entire city. So according to, what are, highlighted items to, achieve here for this year, would we want to just look at a certain part of town to start that project? Angela and I talked about this a little bit today, because this all happened prior to my coming into office. So that Main Street improvement goes from the water tower, you said, to 8th Avenue?
Right.
So if we want to start televising all those lateral lines to, meet the needs in these things that are coming up to start with.
Just for a little history, what Judy and I talked about today is, this I lateral lines, as you can see, the schedule is part of our agreement with our settlement with the NBCA. And in our ordinance does state that in 2025, we would do that for no charge. 26, then there would be a fee that the council should have in their fee schedule, so being it says we're supposed to do it, doesn't always mean we can't adjust that because of the price of this. We don't necessarily have $198,000 to put towards it, but we have to look at this Main Street thing. We can maybe do that area, so if there are laterals coming on as we do, they already know they're gonna have to replace it, so as you do the project, it's a lot cheaper for them to get that taken care of. And that's the reason for suggesting to start there at this point, and we might have to have a later discussion about how we're gonna cover all of it, or what we're gonna do, or space it out for a few years, or have residents pay part of it. Kind of make it work.
I think that sounds like a great idea, especially if they're gonna start working there, at least know what they're getting into.
Right. And as a note in there, Darren has $9,000 annually due televising, he could put towards the cost of this first go around.
Do you need a motion to start the Main Street area first?
If we
Okay.
wanna do that area, yes, for that project.
I would make a motion to start with Main Street for the lateral lines and focus there first and kind of see how things go with that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to start with televising the Main Street project for the lateral lines. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have a couple of requests here for special event applications. The beach party to be held on June 22nd, and Silver Street's goat yoga for June 7th at Osakis Park. And I think that's when Amber said she's gonna do a ribbon cutting, right?
Yes. I will make a motion to approve the special event, of the beach party along with the ribbon cutting on June 22nd.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve special event for the beach party on June 22nd after the parade, contingent on receiving all necessary approval and insurance for the events, and to include the ribbon cutting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Also make the motion with the same stipulations for the goat yoga in Parkville Sun.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve special event Silver Street's goat yoga to be held on June 7th at Park Osakis. Contingent on receiving all necessary approvals and insurance for event. All in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And the last thing is, I would really like, I'm getting an ever-growing list of things that I would like to discuss with the council, but I don't wanna take up the time when it takes me 2 hours to run a meeting now. I'm wondering if we can find a date. For me, I'm pretty open.
Maybe in June or in May.
Well, we're working down on May. I mean, I would love to see it done in May if we can all come to a,
So we also throw the holiday in, the 26th is Memorial.
Yep.
And we will have a meeting next Monday as well. Is it something, do we look early June? Or is it something we wanna do another meeting, maybe late next week?
Or do we wanna do it
Or-
after the gambling meeting? I know it'd be a long day for you and I to speed at 4 o'clock, but, the gambling meeting, I don't think should take more than half an hour, 45 minutes, I wouldn't think.
I wouldn't either, and
Should.
we've been discussing it quite often.
So that would
Even the 19th, 6:15.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Might as well, if we're already here.
Okay, then we will
That
plan.
would be a good way to say, hey, let's keep on
Get
task because we got one more meeting yet.
Yes.
You're thinking 6:15 then?
Yeah,
Possibly?
and you will be posting that, correct?
I will, yeah.
Thank you.
Find everybody the next one tomorrow.
And if you guys have anything on your schedules that you would like to bring up for conversation, I know we won't answer all of my questions and queries because I'm new to the position, but I think there's several things that we need to be thinking.
I think we should order pizza or something that
I was
night,
thinking
because
that, I
that's, I'm thinking, you guys, that's a long shift and
You too, you're.
Yeah.
I'm encouraging us to come at 5:30 if we're gonna be here till. I'm here straight from work. I don't make the decisions when I'm starting.
Well, and we could have where we start, we maybe have a little break and get it, have to go get it at some point.
Yeah.
There's nobody delivers around here.
Well, otherwise I can always text Dan and he can go pick something up too. Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think you should.
I, whatever you decide, I just think that's a long time to sit through for some of you guys 3 meetings and not have a.
I don't mind it, getting out of one and take another couple nights.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to adjourn the meeting, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
sit on the floor.
Meeting is
And
Yeah.
Because the environment.
This-